Right. Um, so today we are talking about reflection. Okay, we've been talking about transformation. We have four types of transformation that we've already talked about. We have translation, reflection, rotation, and dilation. Right. Basically, those are the four types of transformations we have. Yesterday we talked about translation. So today we are talking about reflection. Okay. Now our objective today is to determine the pre-image. Okay. Determine the pre-image. These are very important keynotes and the image of a two-dimensional figure. Two-dimensional figure. Okay. So now, what is the definition of a reflection? Okay. Definition. What reflection means is that it uses a line to transform a figure and maps every point P such that, okay, if P is on the line, then P prime, the image, the image is equal to the pre-image, okay? And if P is not on the line, then M is the perpendicular. Look at this symbol. We talked about this symbol already. It's a perpendicular bisector of the line P and P prime, okay? This look abstract. When you look at it, the definition looks abstract. But yesterday, when we're talking about reflection, we just basically talked about the following. So if this is a line, okay, and this is a triangle, if this is the line we have, it will flip this way, okay? So, and this is like a flip, okay? This is like a flip. So now, if you are standing before a mirror, okay, reflection is most determined when you are standing before a mirror. You are reflected in the mirror. What mostly happens is that if I'm facing south, okay, most of the time, the image will be looking the other way around, flip the other way around, which is the north, okay? Even in this video that I'm doing for you guys who are online, you notice that I'm facing you, but my image will be facing, so you are facing the camera, but my image will be facing you, okay? So those are reflections. So when you're standing before a mirror, that is a typical representation of reflection. You are facing the mirror, and whatever you are looking at is also directly looking at you. Okay, that's how we are able to see our face. Now, there are different types of reflection, okay? Now, let's say that we have a line, which is, let's say the y-axis is a line. So we are going to look at reflection, especially, let's say the s-axis rather is a line. So reflection on the s-axis. Okay. Reflection on the s-axis. So we have, already we talked about Cartesian plane already, okay, sy, two-dimensional figure, right? And this is our x-axis, okay? Now, the x-axis is now our mirror. So any image, if I have an image here, okay, I'm thinking that when I reflect it on the x-axis, it should be something down here. That makes more sense. The same thing, if I have an image here, okay, if I reflect it on the x-axis, I have to be seeing something, the same thing flipped over. So that's basically reflection. Now, reflection on the x-axis. Now let's use some point. Any point I see here, provided that that point, see here, maybe this point is 2, and this is positive 2, so 2, 1, okay? So if that point, if you have a point xy, okay, and it's reflected on the x-axis, what happened is that nothing changed with the x, but the y, the sign on the y changes, okay? For example, the point here, 2, 1, will now become 2, -1. This looks simple, right? Reflection on the x-axis, don't do anything, just change the sign on the x-axis. The same thing applies. If I had, maybe here, I have negative, see the point here will be in the negative x, so -1, 2, okay? So maybe this is negative actually, let me make, because it's too far away from 1, let me make it 4. So if it is negative 4, 1, okay, for example, then this reflected will become what? Negative 4, negative 1. Okay. What about if it is already, this is 2, negative 5? Now this is where you have to be careful. This is already a negative number. So you just have to change the sign. This will be 2, positive 5. If it is negative, make it positive. And if it is positive, make it negative. Okay. So that is reflection on the y-axis. Okay. Now let's look at reflection on the s-axis. Okay. Now I'm going to write here reflection on the y-axis. So we did s-axis. So I'm reflecting rather. So if I have a Cartesian plane like we have here, okay, this Cartesian plane we have here, my reflection line will now be this line, the one here. Okay. So how does it behave if my reflection line is that line over there? So basically, this is what happened most of the time. Let me see if this can see the board clearly. Perfect. So reflection on the x-axis, what happened to the component? This is x, y. Now, what happened? The x becomes a negative, maintain the y. Okay? The x becomes the negative, maintain. Now, let's look at this example. 2, 1 become negative 2, 1. Okay? Negative 4, 1. See, the sign here is negative 4. We now have 4. The sign becomes positive. When it is negative, positive. If it is positive, negative. Right? 1. Okay? That's basically is to change the sign on the s-axis. Okay? Now, another form of reflection I want to talk about is reflection when x is equal to y. Reflection x on s, in fact y equal to x. Okay, let me clean this clearly. Okay, yeah, I think the video still works. Right, reflection. Is everything? I want to see if everything is okay. Taking the right video. So reflection on, yeah, my marker is misbehaving, but good. Y is equal to x. Yeah, that works. Perfect. It's as thick I want it to be. So x is equal to y. Then what happens when x is equal to y? If x is equal to y, then y is equal to x as well. So if we have x, y, it will map onto what? Now, if you see x, put y in place. If you see y, put x in a place. Remember, it's just a flip. Okay? So x, y, you flip it. Y become x and x become y. So you flip it. So what am I saying? If I have 2, 1 in my case, it will become 1. So it's pretty much straightforward, right? And if I have negative 4, 1, for example, this will become 1, negative 4. This is straight to the point. Now, the last type of reflection we will be talking about today is called, the last type of reflection we will be talking about today is called, okay. Alright, so the last type of reflection I want to talk about is reflection when y, reflection y is equal to negative x. Okay, now y is now equal to negative, and what happened? If I have x and y, the rule is first flip all of them. Okay, so it becomes x, y. No, flip. Okay, sorry. It's a flip, so it becomes yx, right? If you flip this here, they will change position, then negate all of them. That's the reflection when y is equal to x. Okay, basically, like in our first case, if I have 2, 1, it will become flip 1, 2, but put a negative sign. Okay, I mean flip it and put a negative sign there. Same thing happens when you have negative 4, 1. Okay, remember, flip 1, negative 4, but this becomes positive and this becomes negative. Negative, negative become positive. Okay, so this would be positive 4. Okay, flip and change the sign. Flip. So I flip this, it becomes 1, negative 4. Change the sign, it becomes positive. Okay, now there are a few. So if I put this video on the link, there are some questions, some practice tests I have put on the link. I want to show you. Be right back. So this is 4.2. So these are the practice tests I have done that I want us to look at. So it will be in the link. Check it out, okay? Well, have a good weekend. Bye.